Hello viewers and welcome to a brand new episode of Trashtalk on Lancer, Operation Winter Scar Edition, where I talk stuff about Mech. In this episode, Gilgamesh, from Harrison Armory. Gilgamesh is the protagonist of the Epic of Gilgamesh and possibly the very real historical king of a Sumerian city-state of Uruk. In Epic of Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh is described as an absolute hunk of a demigod and is also an absolute piece of shit, so much so that the gods created Inkija to deal with him, an equally strong wild man that has no idea what he's doing because he's a wild man. I also covered a similarly named frame in another video, in case you didn't know. After becoming civilized through 2 weeks long of post-nut clarity, Inkiju immediately went to the city of Uruk to challenge Gilgamesh in a fight so epic. You can't read it because it broke off the stone tablet. They then immediately stopped fighting and became best friend. I said best friend with massive air quote because we all know most historians are cowards and refuse to call these two who they really were. Alternatively, we can also call them fellow bachelors, Sunday church friends, or college roommates. The first thing Gilgamesh and Inkija do upon becoming college roommates was to kill a fire-breathing monster called Humbaba, for absolutely no reason other than the fact that Gilgamesh decided it was cool, I suppose. Gilgamesh was then ambushed by Ishtar, a goddess, who really wanted to marry him, but he refused because even Gilgamesh knew that sticking it into a crazy death goddess is not a good idea. Angered by this, Ishtar went to her parent for the bowl of heaven to kill Gilgamesh with it. Naturally, Gilgamesh and Inkija did a thing called smash it really hard and the bowl of heaven became beef of heaven. However, this is not a good thing, as later that night, Inkija dreamed of being in the council of the gods who were angered by the death of 2 sacred creatures, and want one of them dead as punishment. And as much as Gilgamesh is kinda a shithead, Inkija is far more expendable. Over the course of 12 days, Inkija was slowly withered away by a sickness, and Gilgamesh can do nothing but watch his college roommate die. This spirals into an existential crisis, and Gilgamesh went off to find a way to gain immortality. Long story short, through many trials and challenges, he didn't find it, and returned to the city of Uruk, and the poem ended there. Whatever we know of the Epic of Gilgamesh, let it be known that we could have easily lost the complete knowledge of it, if not for a bunch of stone tablets still being written millennia after the story setting that were then later rediscovered in a ruin just barely 200 years ago. Naturally, these tablets were later found in the British Museum, just piled up like garbage before someone figured out how to read it. Epic of Gilgamesh is a 5,000 years old story about a hero king terrified of death, and when he finally stopped running away from it, he became a king worthy to be immortalized through stories, spoken by his people long after his death, and these stories were then recollected and translated for thousands more years to come, and now, the king is a fucking anime boy. Time is cruel, it could have worn it all away, but this tale, this oldest story written by humanity, that we currently know, managed to survive it all. Truly, man might not be able to find immortality, but college roommates is forever. Named after the myth, Gilgamesh is a frame designed to outlast everything else, not through toughness nor durability, but by engineering and logistics. Looking at its stats, the Gilgamesh is a size 1 boy with 1 armor, average health, with decent amount of repair cap. Its speed and evasion are nothing remarkable but still decent, so are its sensor and e-defense. However, it does have a good save target and heat cap, as well as having 6 base system points, just enough for most things. As for its traits, there's 2 of them. First, load-bearing hardpoints. All systems and weapons with limited tag on Gilgamesh have +1 more charges, letting you use them more often, very beneficial for some systems with very limited amounts. Second, locked and loaded. Gilgamesh has a loadout dice that starts at 6, every time you expend 1 limited charge, reduce it by 1, and at 1, you may reset it back to 6 to reroll 1 attack, save, or check, though the second result must be kept. This number persists between scenes until you get a full repair. So, it's clear what's going on. First trait wants the Gilgamesh players to use limited charges more often by giving you more chances to use them. Second trait further stacks on top of that by giving you a reroll chance just for using these limited charges. You get more by using more of it essentially, it's just good, so better throw a lot of grenades around whenever you want. Onto the weapon mounts, Gilgamesh has 3, 1 main, 1 flex, and 1 heavy, plenty for an excellent loadout. As for its core system, first, Gilgamesh has a passive called Exo Frame Engineering, a free action Gilgamesh can use to commit not die, for once per scene. You can activate this action and choose to either repair half your total HP, or repair a destroyed weapon or systems, so if you are about to die, you are not, and if you are weaponless, you are not.
If you didn't use this ability in combat, then you can use it on next rest to either repair all your health or repair a destroyed weapon or system, both, in combat or otherwise, for free, at no cost. This is the strength of Gilgamesh, defeating destruction not by taking it head on, but by outlasting it. This ship ain't gonna Theseus itself. Also, using this ability counts as expending a limited charge, which feeds right back to locked and loaded. As for its core power, Gilgamesh can activates exo-frame engineering for exo-amplification. Upon activation as a protocol, Gilgamesh gain immunity to all conditions not caused by yourself on you until the end of your next turn, and also clear all conditions you already have, including those that can't be cleared normally. You also clear exposed, stand from prone, gain grid +4 over shield, and probably got your laundry cleaned. At the end of your next turn, this overshield dissipates if it's still around. This ability can be used even when you normally can't, like being stunned. Gilgamesh really do not want to die. Also, using this ability feeds right back to locked and loaded too. Gilgamesh really is the Harrison Armory version of the Everest, but whereas the Everest can get more power temporary, Gilgamesh just has a massive no energy. Just say no to anything, including death. Just say no, tell it to fuck off. For the rest of the license, yes, Gilgamesh is a full license and not another alt frame. Last full license review was so long ago, though Winter Scar still has plenty of it. You get Legionnaire Battle Rifle and Emergency Repair Module in the first section. Legionnaire Battle Rifle, good old reliable. The Legionnaire Battle Rifle is a heavy rifle with long range and good damage, for a non-limited heavy, but don't worry, those limited charges are for bonus effect, not to just fire the gun. On attack, you can expend up to 3 charges for either +2 reliable each or push the target character in any direction. You can perfectly fire the weapon without expending charges, and the weapon can still be destroyed even when it's out of charge. Essentially, the Legionnaire Battle Rifle is just a reliable mech-scaled assault rifle, that you can sometimes use to shoot even more bullets to ensure some hits on the target or make the target dance. It really just works. Emergency Repair Module, the 11th Hour Aid, is a limited charge systems to enhance either you or your allies' brace. The very moment they take damage from the triggering attack, a repair can be expended to restore said character health to full immediately, and if the user took structure damage from the attack, they get to roll 1 less dice on structured damage check, lessening the pain it would have resulted. Emergency Repair Module is exactly what it said. You use it to repair in an emergency, and let you turn a lethal hit into something slightly less painful. However, this requires a repair to work, so it can be a bit expensive to utilize, not as expensive as your repair bill if you do take a hit head on though. Aside from the Gilgamesh frame itself, you get Utility Drone and Super Thermal Blade in the second section. Utility Drone, a little helper. Utility Drone is a limited systems in which you can use a quick action with to send up to 2 drones within your sensor range, depending on how many limited charges you have used. These drones creates a burst 2 area where hostile roll checks and saves worse, and allies roll them better. This effect do not stack with other utility drone. The drone can be called to other places but cannot be recalled and it expires at the end of the scene. Long story short, utility drone really just helps allies around it better and makes hostile do worse. You can use them to set up plans that require the use of systems, or to protect your allies from enemy system. Whatever your plan is, these things won't be the main character, but they will definitely support you. Super Thermal Blade, hotter blade means it cuts better. The Super Thermal Blade is a main melee with AP tag, making it cuts very well with its blade. Its threat is short as heck, but it deals decent damage and also deal 1 heat to the target. However, you also take 1 heat just using it, which might be a good thing due to its bonus effect. Upon hitting a target, when in danger zone, you can expend a charge from this weapon to deal +3 heat to the target, cooking them up immensely. If you are not in danger zone, you can just take 3 heat yourself too to be able to use this effect. Much like the Legionnaire Battle Rifle, the Super Thermal Blade has limited charge for bonus effects, and one can deal a huge amount of heat to the target with it, though with its really short threat, you gotta get real close for it to work. Even if you are just cutting people up like normal, the AP tag will help you a lot in getting damage through. In the final section, you get Legion Nexus and Spear charges. Legion Nexus, Dismount Robo Squad. Legion Nexus is a super heavy Nexus with a somewhat average range, great damage, smart, and also make you take 2 heat from using it. The limited charge is once again, for a special effect, for once per round. After attacking with this weapons, you can expend a charge as a free action to deploy a small robo-fire team as a drone adjacent to you. As a protocol, you can order each of the squad to move by 3 spaces and do either 1.
Suppression Protocol, to suppress the heck out of a hostile in range 5, this gives +1 accurate dice to your Legion Nexus attack against them until the end of their next turn, also force them to roll agility save or get impaired. Or 2, Assault Position, a hostile character adjacent to the drone squad must pass a hull save or get their shit kicked in, knocked back 1 space and prone. This drone squad is also now counted as size 1, until the start of your next turn, and can be used as hard cover. That's not all, for each deployed drone squad, give +2 damage on hit to the Legion Nexus to the max of +6, however, these deployed drone squad cannot be recalled and is expended at the end of the scene. To summarize, Legion Nexus isn't just a weapon, it's also an effective area denial option that can be used to screw up anything within your sensor range and then some, if you are willing to expend the resource for it. With the Legion Nexus, you can really screw up enemy control of the battlefield while also letting you dish out some serious damage. If you want to command a small platoon of killer robots, this will be your go-to option. Finally, there's Spear Charges, ancient weapon in modern doctrine. Spear Charges is a grenade systems that can be expended for one of the 2 following effects. First, anti-armor rockets, you force a target in range 10 to either pass an agility save or get blown up by 6 AP damage, half on success. Second, loitering payload, when deployed, this mine area cannot overlap with any hostile characters. The next time when a hostile voluntarily, and I do have to stress, voluntarily, move more than 1 space into the area, the payload immediately deploys itself against them. Again, agility save or take 2d6 AP damage. The hostile also stop and lose all movement on failure or not. Each character can only trigger 1 loitering payload per turn. First one is easy to get, it's just a flying boomstick. The second one is a bit interesting, it's basically a mine, but smart enough to work only against hostile. However, you also cannot force the hostile to move into the area to get exploded, though using Osiris will still work because Goblin is stupid. This is an area denial weapon, a very smart one, too smart honestly. You can really only put it somewhere you don't want the enemy to go to, and if they get smacked by it, it's 100% their own fault. And that's basically it on Gilgamesh, a frame designed to outlast everything else by ease of repair or just pack a lot of grenades. Its license is full of reliable weapons and systems, no weird gimmick stuff, besides maybe the Legion Nexus. These things can be slapped onto any builds and they will work just fine, just a bunch of no-nonsense tools. You want to keep going even when everything else seems to be falling apart, this is the frame for you. Anyway, that's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe and click that notification bell button. If you want to see the videos early as well as further support my channel, you can join in my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.